Hello friends, today we are doing something that we did about a month ago, but a month ago it was like over a couple of weeks. Today I'm just taking you guys with me this weekend while I mood read. Reasons for this: my TBR, which is usually here, has 2 books on it that I don't think I'm going to get to this weekend because I have quite a bit of work to do in real time. This week coming up is my birthday and my sister's coming to visit. And so I'm not going to probably be doing a ton of reading over the next week in general. But this weekend is go time. I have work I need to get done. I'm going to be having some long days, listening to some audio. And I have my book that I'm reading in the evening that I do plan to finish this weekend. So I figured I would take you guys with me. We're just going to mood read. And it's so funny because the mood reading vlog for you guys went up like a month ago. And for me, it hasn't gone out yet because I'm really ahead on videos. So I also contemplated just not filming anything this weekend. But because we're approaching the end of the year, which will get us into vlog or like Bookmas territory, I want to be ahead so that when Bookmas comes, I'm not behind. So we're just gonna mood read this weekend and see what we get up to. This is the book that I am currently reading on my Kindle. This was our September book club pick. If you want to join book club, it is linked down below. I'm at this point in time not sure what our October pick is gonna be, but join us. If you don't like the book we pick, you can just skip it, you know what I'm saying? So this is the book I'm currently picking. This is the newest Stacy Willingham book. I have read all of her books. I have given her a 5-star and 2 3-stars. So this could go either way. This kind of be like the make or break moment of if I should just break up with Stacy. But this is about our main character Claire, and she's like a detective, I believe. That's like her job. She works for the police force. She had this older sister, Natalie, who went missing and was presumed dead when she was younger, but the body was never found. Somebody did go to prison for it, but she's never really had closure on the situation. She gets a call from her dad that her parents are divorced, but her dad knows that her mom just had surgery and she's having a hard time kind of getting around the house by herself, so he asks Claire to go home and stay with her. Claire and her mom and her family kind of have like this really strained relationship. They have not seen each other in about 12 years since Claire graduated high school. She agrees to go, and while she's there, she starts looking through her sister's room, finding some clues, and we're gonna find out, I guess, like what happened. Her sister worked at like a vineyard and called Gallo Farm, and Claire is she's like on her way there now. I'm only like 15% into the book, but it says in the synopsis that like she's gonna stumble upon a diary of the vineyard's owner, so I think something like bad happened at the vineyard. So there's that. And then as far as audio, I'm gonna start the day by listening to Asylum by Madeline Roux, because this audiobook's only 7 hours, and I listen to audiobooks at 3 times speed, so it's gonna just take me just barely 2 hours to listen to. And I'm going based on like the length of the book in my audiobooks that I literally last night I just like grabbed a couple of books that I own, and I've had this for a while. We're getting into spooky season. I'm kind of feeling a little bit burnt out by romance right now because I've had such a romance heavy couple of months. I'm a little bit sad to read this physically or digitally because there are some pictures in it which I'm sure add to the drama of reading it. But it's fine. I'm just gonna do what I need to do and listen to it. And if I think that if I'm like listening to it and I'm like, oh no, this like desperately needs the photos, then I'll stop. But that's the plan for the day thus far. Let's get into it. We're gonna get started on the audio now. It's hours later than I wanted it to be. It's noon. It's not like it's late, but I was going to start listening. I quite literally put my headphones on, got ready to get started listening, and realized my headphones were dead. So simply had to charge those bad boys up, and now here we are. And we're ready to get going on this book. Hopefully it's decent, and yeah, it's only a 7-hour audio, so it should be pretty quick. Okay, 65% of the way through this book, and I'm liking it so far. I'm cooking food right now for Chris and I to have for like a big lunch, I guess. Anywho, this book is about our main character, Dan Crawford. He is going to this college prep program in New Hampshire. He's super excited about it. He loves learning, whatever. He makes friends with a couple of other people there, Abby and Jordan, and they start sneaking out at night, and they find like these really old parts of this college, which this college used to be like an insane asylum back in the day. And they're kind of uncovering all these mysteries, all these weird things keep happening. Some people are churning up dead. And it's like about them going down to these like forbidden areas of the asylum to try to figure out like some mysteries and some things were happening. It's pretty creepy, it's pretty good. I don't want to say anything that the back does not say. But yeah, they start exploring the hidden basement and the twisty halls, and they're uncovering disturbing secrets about what really went on at this asylum. Abby thinks that one of her relatives was there. Dan thinks maybe one of his relatives was the warden, and they're trying to find out how they're connected to this place. Dan keeps having these really intense dreams, and yeah. It's been thoroughly creepy. I think it's probably going to be like a 4 depending on the end, but I'm enjoying it. I do have the rest of the books in this series, Catacomb and Sanctum, I think, but I am liking it, and yeah, I think it's a good spooky season. It's considered YA horror, so there's that. I'm getting in my head today about if I'm being really boring, so sorry about that, but I did finish this, and I hate to break it to everybody. I ended up giving it 3 stars. Again, I bought this as a box set, so I got the whole box set for like less than $20 at the used bookstore. So I'm gonna finish out the series. I just don't know that it's gonna be, it's because it's YA. Like, it was really creepy, a really good creepy build-up, but the ending just didn't take it far enough. You know what I mean? So there's that, and now I'm going to start the audio for this. This is the last duology of all of Sarah Adams' books. Whenever I have these 2 done, you'll probably see this coming up soon, is a like official ranking of all of her books. But this is To Con a Gentleman. I've never read what this is about, so let's find out together. As a con woman who spent her entire life fending for herself on the streets of London, Rose Wakefield knows how to scam a gentleman out of his money without ever getting caught. That's until she knocks on the wrong Earl's door and is faced with Carver Ashburn, Earl of Kensworth, and not the notorious rake she thinks she is approaching. Carver is a good man, but even a good man will not pass up an opportunity to escape his grief. What better way to avoid his feelings than to play into a con woman's ruse and offer to marry her? Things only get more complicated when Carver sweeps Rose off to his family estate and circumstances force them both to continue the ruse. Carver needs to protect his family, and Rose needs to protect herself and her heart. With so much set against them, will Rose and Carver have a chance at love or freedom? The possibility of heartache not worth the risk. Okay. This is giving historical fake dating. I like fake dating. I don't like historical romance, and I love Sarah Adams. So we'll see where this one falls. It's probably going to be a 3. But my last Sarah Adams that I read, I gave it 2. So I'm in a slump. I am, unfortunately. The books, I had a 5-star so far this month. I've had a 5-star memoir, which doesn't really count. I had a 4-star romance, and then everything else has been 3 stars, 2 stars, or DNF in like the last month, and I'm just so over it all. So I'm praying that this is maybe a 4-star. It's not a 5-star. I know that without even starting. Okay, this is my office. Obviously, my husband's in our bedroom, but I'm about halfway through To Con a Gentleman, and I do think it's going to be a 3-star, which for for Regency romance, which is even worse than historical to me. Also, you guys are kind of crusty dusty. Sorry about that. This is like, okay, so basically we have Rose, and Rose is a con artist. She and like her uncle, who's I don't think really her uncle, her family kind of died and she was orphaned as a young girl, and she basically disguised herself like as a boy to get odd jobs until this uncle of hers like found her, and they basically have been working together to con men, like high society men, out of money. So they like do a bunch of these ruses, and so she basically gets hired by this woman, Daphne, to be her, and like she's like, I think, a servant for this one family, and she falls pregnant, and so she wants Rose to go to this guy's house pregnant to get money out of him, to like shut her up and then make off with the money. And then she's joking that like she and her uncle are like the poorest con people ever, because they give most of the money to the person because that's who needs the money, blah blah blah. So she shows up at this man's house, and he kind of goes along with it, but it automatically knows she's lying because she goes to the wrong house basically. So he's kind of using her as like his fake girlfriend. We find out some things about him, that he had this like childhood friend to lover who passed away, and he's been kind of running from that all of his life. He never goes back home to see his family. He brings Daphne / Rose to his family's house, and now they're in this fake dating situation. She was trying to go on the run and leave because she's like, oh my god, he knows I'm lying, but he's not like wanting her to because he doesn't want to upset his family, and so she needs to stay. And it's this whole like back and forth. It's like fine, nothing really to write home about, but I'm definitely liking it better than The Temporary Roomie, because that book was horrid. So this is like a surprising 3-star, so I'm not mad about it. I'm truly not mad about it, but I am going to finish this today. And we don't have a lot of work today. I have a lot of, if you don't know, I have a small business where I make stickers, and I have a lot of bigger orders to do today, so I think it's going to be kind of a later work day. I have 5 hours, 53%, so about 5 hours left at 3 times speed. Less than 2 hours left of listening to this, and I have 3 other books. I think I'll probably listen to Beneath the Stands next, to continue in a series that I didn't really like the first book very much in, but see how I like the second one. But it's giving 3-star. In fact, it is really very much so. What if every book in this video is 3 stars? That would be really, this is like, and I'm happy about it 3 stars, whereas Asylum was like, and I'm annoyed about it 3 stars, if that makes sense. Welcome to the kitchen. I just finished To Con a Gentleman, and I'm making myself mac and cheese for lunch. But I'm gonna give this, like, again, I feel like I've said this a ton of times. Next year I'm gonna do half stars, because I do think this would be like a 3.5. I can't decide if I'm gonna give it a 3 or a 4 on Goodreads. I think I might actually give it a 4, which is shocking, because basically there's this underlying storyline about Carver and how he had the love of his life passed away, and like that storyline was at points like kind of giving me chills and was very emotional, and I really, really loved that aspect. And I feel like it made me, I'm sorry, just cleaning the counter a little bit over here. It made me a little bit emotional, and I feel like that in itself warrants a 4 over a 3. So we'll see. I have still not fully decided where my rating is going to lie, but I'm going to start the audio for this. This is quite a long book, so the audio, it's like almost 400 pages. The audio only being 10 hours is kind of wild, but this is book 2 in the Sugar Lake series. I love that it says the series name on the top, and it has the number on the side. That's very satisfying. This is by Emily McIntire. This is about Elliot. Elliot Carson left Sugar Lake and never looked back. Revered as the next big thing in basketball. Eli's a star until an injury ends his career, sending him spiraling with no direction. But he won't go home. He can't. Instead, he escapes to a coaching gig in Florida Coast University, determined to leave his past behind. But his fate has other plans when Becca, his sister's best friend, shows up as a student, and even worse, becomes the new team manager. I don't know, I can't remember if Elliot is the brother of the girl in the first book or what, but I'm sure we'll figure it out simply. But I don't remember the characters' names, other than I did not like the male main character, and I liked the guy named Jackson better. Like, that's what I remember, and I just read that book, but character names don't really stick with me for some reason. I don't know why. Even books that like I love, I sometimes have a hard time remembering character names. It's just part of my charm, I guess. And I don't have my phone on me, so I can't really look it up. But anywho, Rebecca Sanger is the preacher's daughter and the town's disappointment. When she ignores her family's demands to come home, she's cut off and needs a job to stay enrolled at FCU. She thought she had everything figured out until Eli Carson, the person she hates more than anything in the world, ends up her new boss. Forced together, Becca and Eli's hatred turns to heat, but disaster quickly strikes, ripping them apart. Years pass, Becca's back home under her parents' thumb, living a mundane life. When Eli shows up out of the blue with a fiancé in tow, Becca is tasked with planning their wedding. But the only problem, Becca still loves Eli, but he hates her. For the second time in their lives, Becca and Eli are forced together, and they'll find out just how thin the line is between love or hate and a love that lasts a lifetime. So I'll actually go to my room because I got the macaroni in. Let me turn down the heat a little bit because it's about to literally boil over. But these books have like a very present, like a very strong past present timeline. Like the whole first half is in the past, at least that's how the first one was. It's kind of how this one's seeming it's gonna be. Let me put you guys right there. I'm gonna be extraordinarily backlit, but just so I can catch the drift. Yes, the girl in this book was Alina Carson, and this is about Elliot Carson. So it's her brother, and it's the main girl in this is brother and his sister, so Elena's best friend Becca. Okay. And then book 2 is about my boy Jackson, or book 3 is about my boy Jackson, I'm pretty sure. I hope that there's different audio narrators, because the narrators of book 1 really, the fake southern accents were really getting me good. But yeah, I'm gonna continue making my macaroni and cheese, and I will check in with you guys later. I've not read any more of my other book that I was reading, my book on my Kindle, my book club book, because last night I didn't get home till almost midnight, and I typically read on my Kindle in the evening, but we had game night and we were reading or playing Daggerheart, which is a kind of like D&D. It's a role-playing game. And so by the time I got home, I was exhausted. There was no time for reading. I may read some, it really depends. I'm working, obviously, and I don't know how late this work is gonna take me. If I have time to read tonight, I would love to get further in that book. I don't know that I'll finish it, but if I read some of it tonight, I won't end this video until I finish that book. Does that make sense? I don't wanna leave you guys hanging, but I don't wanna force myself to stay up if I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? So Beneath the Stands by Emily McIntire is the next book. I did decide I'm giving Takana Gentleman 4 stars. Shocking, probably to everyone. Beneath the Stands. Sugar Lake number 2. Does this one have a better rating? Let me see. This one's rated a 4. Exactly a 4. The other one's a 3.9. So this is like a 10th higher. And the first book has the worst rating on Goodreads, and book 4 has the best rating. So we'll see where the cookie crumbles with this one. I gotta add this to Storygraph, all the apps, because no app can be perfect, so we have to use a bunch of different ones. Classic. Also Takana Gentleman, the second book, I think is about one of the sisters, Elizabeth, and I kind of liked her, so I'm excited to hear her story whenever we get there. But I've got 2 minutes left on my mac and cheese, and I'm gonna eat this, and it's gonna be scrumptious. I'm so hungry right now, so I'm thrilled, honestly. And that's my plan. We're gonna get back to work, and I feel like I've been kind of chatty, so I don't know if I'm even gonna bother with b-roll of the next book, because I still have to finish talking about that book and possibly another book. So, you know, I don't personally give a shit about b-roll, but that's like what you're supposed to do, so I do it. But maybe I'll pass on doing any more. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm gonna get back to work after I'm done with my macaroni and watch some YouTube while I eat my macaroni. And yeah, that's the plan of action. Okay guys, we're about halfway through, and I will admit it is in fact the same, I'm about halfway through, but it is the same narrators, and it's like the male narrator does the female voice, and he's like, oh my god, and oh my god, Eli, like this really obnoxious like southern voice. But anywho, I'm about halfway through. I'm almost to the point where we're going to the future. I think that that's like 2 chapters from now. But so we've only gotten the past point of view. But basically, Becca is Eli's sister's best friend. Her name's Alina. She calls her Lee. She and Lee, BFFs in Tennessee. Then Becca, she goes to school in Florida, and she does not want to move back home after finishing school. Her family has big issues with this. Her dad is a preacher, but she kind of doesn't have respect for her family, wants nothing to do with them, because the dad is, she's like walked in on the dad fucking people at the church, like younger girls, like not minors, but like her like college-aged girls, basically. The mom knows all about it. She's told the mom's aware. He's constantly flirting with people in front of the mom. She doesn't give a shit. She stays with him. So she doesn't want to move back home. So with this, they decide they're going to cut her off. So she has to get a job to basically support herself at college, because she's living she's renting an apartment with one of her best friends, Sabrina. And so she gets a job. The only thing that's really available is being like the assistant kind of person for the men's basketball team. And that's where Eli comes in. He is the coach of the men's basketball team. So it's a little bit like forbidden, but not really. Like, they've known each other their whole lives. Additionally, he's really young and she's graduating, but they start hooking up and nobody can know about it. So they're trying to keep it under wraps. And he's constantly jealous of her guy friend Jeremy, and Jeremy's the point guard on the basketball team because they're always hanging out. He doesn't know this, but Jeremy's actually gay, which is kind of funny because my brother-in-law's name is Jeremy and he's also gay. But Jeremy doesn't want, in the book Jeremy, doesn't want other people to know that, so she keeps his secret. And so it's this whole situation, and now she's getting to graduation, and some things have happened, and now she has, middle of the night, left. And he is heartbroken over it. So that's kind of where we're at. And I didn't realize that this was going to take place before the ending of the other book. Because in the other book, he's engaged to somebody else. And we know in the synopsis that he's going to come back to town engaged. And in book 1, Alina is dealing with their dad. Their mom, she's passed away. And the dad's a mess, an alcoholic, and her brother keeps refusing to come into town to help. And so this is taking place before he even realizes how bad things are with his dad. So I think when we get to the 5 years forward, that's going to be when him and this fiance come into town, which all of that happens in the first book. I do not love stories like that. It's a big issue I have with the Boys of Tommen series, but it's fine so far. There's been way too, in the first half, there's been at least 4 or 5 spice scenes. And I'm just to the point where I'm skipping the rest of the chapter. I just can't be bothered to listen to it for another time. And, the way they're written is not for me either. But I'm liking it better than the first one. But as of right now, it's still feeling like a 3, unfortunately. Because I have the whole series, which was a choice. I need to stop doing that. I really do. I really, really do. But the covers are so cute. Come on. That's adorable. Ugh. But I'm taking a break because my back hurts really bad. I'm going to go take a shower and then I'm going to get back to work. I'm, like I said, halfway through. Hopefully I can get close to being finished with it today. But I just don't want to do anything. That's the setup. Okay, you guys are getting phone camera footage for this book because I finished this weeks ago and I finished this video weeks ago. I've started a different mood reading vlog and I never finished this video. So, we have finished Beneath the Stand. I'm pretty positive I gave this 4 stars, but now I'm second guessing myself. Oh, I was just looking for my phone, but you guys are on my phone. Pretty sure I gave this 4 stars. This is book 2 in the Beneath the Stands series. I ended up really enjoying getting to see how Becca's relationship with her family, with them being her being a preacher's daughter and having all of these things. Oh my god, my closet is so embarrassing. Anywho, her being the preacher's daughter and having all of these expectations put on her were very interesting to read about, and like being able to see the situation with Eli's dad from his point of view, because we saw it from his sister's point of view in book 1, and getting to see him come back to this hometown with this fiance and how he and Becca split up because there is like an age gap and they were together and there were things that happened that caused her to leave, and getting to see how that really affected both of them and the paths that they both went down and what brought them back together was so good. I feel like second chance romance can be very hit or miss for most people from what I've seen, because a lot of the times we're like, well, they were better apart. This is a book where, like, yes, the reason that they split up was a stupid, not like stupid, it did involve miscommunication, but because of her being like a young girl in college and the person who relayed this information to her and all that sort of stuff, it felt very realistic, and them being able to refine each other was really, really good. So we did give this 4 stars, and we are done with this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.